Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, however you're tuning in, man. Appreciate you listening to Sports with Balls. Man, what a weekend. It is Monday, and I'm a little under the weather, been under the weather for about a week. That's why I was off last week, so bear with me if you can. Welcome into Sports with Balls, guys. I'm Jeff Michael, your host, as always. Going to get some guests on this next coming up week or two, but as for now, it's just me, man. 30-minute blasting episode of what happened over the weekend, basically, and what's going to happen tonight. College football playoff, or college football championship, should I say, coming at you this evening. But first of all, I got to thank a couple of people before we get going. As always, let's get the bills paid. Christian's Tailgate Bar and Grill was absolutely slammed yesterday. They had a Bills Mafia party. They had a Ravens party at one of the locations. Go to christianstailgate.com, find one near you. Award-winning food, incredible atmosphere to watch the games, fights, like you name it, man. Just go to christianstailgate.com, find one near you. Also, legal trouble, thetexastrialattorney.com. Mark Thiessen at Thiessen Law Firm, 713-864-9000. That's 713-864-9000. Thiessen Law Firm. Go to thetexastrialattorney.com. Find out more over there. With the impending weather coming up, Butler CCS, my man Wes Butler over there, fire, water, mold, roofing, if your pipes bust, whatever, you name it, call Wes Butler. He's going to come take care of you over at Butler CCS. Speaking of that, it's 20-something degrees down here in Houston, Texas, where I'm located. You guys try to bundle up, get your pipes bundled up as well. No pun intended. Just, man, listen. It's going to be freezing. Try to stay warm. The schools are closed for the next 2 days, so we'll try to hold it down with the kids at the house. But, yeah, man, stay bundled up, stay warm, and stay off the roads. Snow, 2 to 4, maybe even 6 inches of snow expected down here in Houston, Texas, which is that probably happens once every 15, 20 years. So we know people are not going to know how to – I don't even think they have snowplows down here. That ought to be real interesting. So we'll see. Today, January what are we at? The 20th? My goodness, man. January the 20th. Let's go over the national holidays. Of course, today is MLK Day, Martin Luther King. Get your MLK Day on. I believe there's parades and stuff going on still, even because of the weather, but go get your MLK on. National DJ Day. Shout out to Johnny J. A couple of other DJs I know. The Crackin' Nuts, man. Great guys over there for National DJ. Cheese Lovers. I'm all in on that. National Penguin Day. That's fitting for how freezing cold it is across the United States. Blue Monday. Whatever that is. I don't know. I guess it's feeling bad on a Monday. National Camcorder Day. I remember those. Those are cell phones now. Civil Rights Day. Elementary School Teacher Day. We'll have to send a present over to my son's school for that one. But they don't have school till Thursday now. That's insane. Wow. Inauguration Day. Trump will be in there today. That ought to be real interesting. I think they moved it indoors because of the weather as well. International Day of Acceptance. National Coffee Break Day. That being said, Slowpokes. This place is amazing. They got like 6 locations now. Go to Slowpokes Coffee Shop. Amazing like stuff they have over there, like shirts and everything. Really cool stuff. But it's a coffee joint by my boy Mazin, who also owns Christian's Tailgate. So get over to Christian's Tailgate for your food. Go to Slowpokes for your coffee. So National Claudia Day. Shout out to all the Claudias. What else we got? Walk Outdoors Day. That's a hell no. Just gonna say that right now. Any birthdays today? Let's see, athletes-wise, nothing. Oh, Tyler Hero. There you go. There's your athletic birthday for the day. Now we got all that out of the way. Let's get into some sports. Man, what a weekend, dude. What an absolute weekend. I guess let's dive into this Texans game first. We'll get into the college football playoffs or the college football championship here at the end of the show. But right now, there's so much to unpack here. The Texans end up losing to the Chiefs 14-3. CJ Stroud 19-25, 245. No touchdowns, no picks. Joe Mixon 88 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown. The highlight of the, if you want to say stat of the game, would be Travis Kelce, 7 receptions, 117 yards, wide open on numerous occasions, 1 touchdown. With, of course, the Texans had no chance. You got Caitlin Clark and Kelsey's girlfriend, old Taylor, in the booth. They were not going to let the Chiefs lose. Now, I got to give a shout out to Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. They actually did discredit the referees in this game on live TV, which was very interesting. I'm not sure if they got reprimanded for that, but there was a couple of bad calls. Let's just be honest. And it is the Chiefs, and this is something that happens on a normal occasion with them, and it seems to happen more often than not. I'm not saying that's the reason the Texans lost the game, but man, these are championship games. These are really, really high-profile games. This isn't just a Week 7 game. You got to let these guys play football, man. I posted something on social media a minute ago on Sports with Balls Facebook page when Tom Brady got lit up. This was, 10, 12 years ago. No call, but I realize the rules have changed. But, man, I don't know. I don't want to say the NFL's fixed. Now, it is entertainment, and I do post every now and then that it looks more and more like the WWE every now and then. But this was geared towards the Chiefs winning. I'll just say that. I think the Texans played good football. Did they play great? And when you're going up against the Chiefs in Kansas City, against all the odds, including the refs, you know you have to play perfect football, and they did not play perfect football. Going for a 55-yard field goal in that weather was a terrible decision. Bad decision. Punt the ball, play defense. Your defense was playing great at that moment. The score at halftime was 13-6. The game was well in hand, and in fact, it got to 13-12 at one point. And then the fourth quarter came. You can go back to the safety, which covered the spread for the Texans. I had a bunch of people at the casinos calling me, and they were pissed. Some people were happy. Some people were pissed. But Fairbairn for the Texans, bad game. Missed field goal, missed extra point, blocked field goal. There's a lot of things that contributed to the Houston Texans losing that game. I'm not going to sit here and say that it was just the refs. Did they play a part in giving Kansas City 1 or 2 more options or 1 or 2 more opportunities? Yes, they probably did. But the Texans, you've got to play perfect. I'm not gonna say that if those calls go the other way, that the Texans win the game. There's no way. They didn't play good football. They played okay football. They played well enough to probably win a regular season game versus the Jaguars. And you're playing the Chiefs in Kansas City and against all the elements. I mean, all of them. The refs, Taylor Swift, Caitlin Clark, the crowd, the weather. I mean, dude, you've got to play absolutely perfect football. And they did not. Will they be back there next year? I don't know. They've got a lot of characters on that team, the Houston Texans do, that are under 28 years old. They got a lot of guys that are young. That team seems to be well suited to actually get back to where they were this year. I just don't know. It just depends. Depends on who leaves. It depends on coaching. It depends on which CJ Stroud we see. Again, go to social media on Sports with Balls. I posted something where Bryce Young had a better year than CJ Stroud did this year. I don't know if it's the sophomore slump, but Stroud, again, 19-28, 245 yards. Decent game. You should have thrown a touchdown. I get it. It's cold, the weather, but you're from Ohio. Let's go. Chiefs win 23-14 and move on. And we can complain about the refs. Remember 2019 where the New Orleans Saints got absolutely hosed with the Rams penalty? It should have been pass interference. It was not. The ball wasn't even close to the guy when getting there, and he just absolutely threw the guy out of bounds. No call. So I don't want to hear complaining about the refs. It is what it is, man. This is the NFL. There's a reason it's a multi-billion-dollar business. The reason they make tons and tons of money. You need to play perfect. You did not play perfect. You let Travis Kelce haul off and get 117 yards and a wide open touchdown while Mahomes was falling down. It is what it is. I don't think that the Texans would have. It might have been closer, but I don't know. You win that game if you get a couple of calls, that the roughing the passer call that everybody's talking about. Yes, they would have kept the ball. What if they would have turned it over the next down? You don't know. But you got to play perfect. The Texans did not. Then the night game on Saturday. Holy shit, man. My goodness. The Commanders and the Lions game. The first half of that game, the second quarter alone, they scored 42 points. The second quarter of that game, they had 42 points. This was an instant classic. This was a phenomenal football game, unless you're a Lions fan. The Washington Commanders, 12-5 Washington Commanders, now 5-3 on the road. It was just awesome. It was so much fun to watch. Jaden Daniels is a good quarterback. I'm not going to go as far as say that he's a great quarterback yet. We don't know. Anything can happen. This was a day that the Commanders were a really good football team, and the Lions turned the ball over. The Lions turned the ball over way too many times. That was ridiculous. What did Goff have? 3 picks and 1 fumble? Yeah, man. 3 interceptions. A rating of 59.7, QBR of 41.5. Whoa. On the flip side of that, Jaden Daniels, 22 of 31, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, an RTG of 122, and a QBR of 92. Like, that is phenomenal football for a guy that's never been in that position on the road in Detroit. And the misery continues for Lions fan. The misery continues for Lions fan. Jared Goff, you're going to have questions until you. Why is Jameson Williams throwing the ball with your season on the line? I get it. You've played funky all year. But, man, season on the line, Dan Campbell decides to throw a trick play. Well, I don't know if he decided it. I don't know if that guy's going to get fired or not. But Jameson Williams is throwing the ball. He was 0 for 1 with a pick. With your season on the line. You go down and get that first down and maybe a touchdown. The game maybe changes. I don't know. But, you can't have Jameson Williams throwing the football after humping the ground when he scored a touchdown. And your season is on the line. Man, brutal loss. Absolute brutal loss for the Detroit Lions. And back to the drawing board. They're going to be a great team next year. It's going to be the same deal. It's sort of like the game I'll get into in a little bit with Baltimore. You got to get over that hump, and they cannot. Jamar Gibbs, 14 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great game. Great game. Absolutely a great game. Brian Robinson, 15 carries, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns for Washington. Just a solid game for everybody. What did he hit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 receivers. Jaden Daniels hit. Man. De'Ami Brown had 6 receptions for 98 yards. Terry McLaurin, 87 yards, and, of course, the touchdown. Austin Eckler had 41 yards in the air and 47 on the ground. That's 88 yards for Austin Eckler. I mean, they put together one of the great games that they've had all season at the right time. I mean, wow. 28 points. Washington scored 28 points in the second quarter alone. Ran up 45 on them. Is the defense going to be better next year? The Lions had multiple injuries during this game. During the game, yes, and prior to the game. They had people in IR everywhere. So I'm not saying that they can't be better. They just got to get over that hump. Hutchinson, obviously, out for the season. We'll see if it makes him – obviously, that he's a difference maker. Maybe I don't know if they win that game, but maybe it's closer if Hutchinson plays. So we'll see. And another thing is about Jaden Daniels in Washington. As we see people talk about Caleb Williams in Chicago, and wow, they should have taken Jaden. It depends on you have to have the right coach, the right offensive coordinator, the right system. All that stuff has to fall into place. Caleb Williams didn't have a bad season. And we don't even know how good he could be, or maybe if he ever will be. It just depends on if he can get a coach and an offensive coordinator to put a game plan together that fits him. Jaden Daniels fits in the system. And more than anything, that is the biggest deal coming out of college, is getting into a system that fits you. Look at Pat Mahomes. Set for 1 year. They created the system. He learned it. And, man, look at what they're doing now. I mean, the one-score games that Kansas City wins are ridiculous. But KC, he's in a system. He's in a system that fits him. It doesn't matter if the system's only Travis Kelce. It's the system. It works. And it looks like Jaden Daniels is in a system that fits him. He's got an incredible running back in Brian Robinson. Austin Eckler being a great, great backup running back, or a number 1A and 1B, however you will. Terry McLaurin's got a great receiving core. De'Ami Brown stepping up. Jamison Crowder. You've got, who else? Zach Ertz. I mean, it's a good system. The system's working for them. Is the system working in Chicago? No. So you can't say, if you put Jaden Daniels in Chicago, is he going to have that success? Probably not. It's probably not going to happen. So I don't like the comparison talks when it comes to that. But Washington wins the game 45-31, and Detroit is back in Cancun. That was Saturday. Now let's move on to yesterday. Let's see who the Chiefs face and the Commanders face. Well, we already know. The Commanders will face the Eagles because yesterday, this was a great football game. In the snow, Saquon Barkley just going off. Saquon Barkley had 205 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Just unbelievable, man. The Rams had a chance at the end of this game. This game was fun. This game was a great, great matchup. I thought the Rams should have won that game. Turnover late in the ball game, 1 minute left. Man, the Rams had it. The Eagles got worried for a minute. I think they were on the 18-yard line at one point. 1st and 10, 18-yard line with 1 minute to go. All they needed was 6. They could have won it with a touchdown and an extra point. And they did not. They turned the ball over. Terrible. Well, I can't say terrible. It was pouring down snow. It was beautiful to watch. The Eagles do what the Eagles do. They look like the San Antonio Spurs of the NBA back in the day. They just get things done. A lot of people say that Barkley is carrying Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, by the way, with a little bit of a knee injury. We'll find out more about that this week. 15 of 20. That's efficient. 128. That's Jalen Hurts numbers. In that weather, that's perfect. And when you have somebody running for 205 yards, you don't need to do a whole lot. And that's exactly what it did. Not a whole lot. Matt Stafford was actually really good. 26 of 44, 324 with 2 touchdowns. That's a great game. Great football game. Puka Nacua, a couple of incredible catches, 6 receptions, 97 yards. Demarcus Robinson had 74 and Kupp, 61. Good football game. That was an entertaining football game. LA had their shot, and Philadelphia's at home. It's very hard to win in that weather in Philly. LA gave it a shot, and now we look forward to Matt Stafford and what is going to happen to him after the game. His sentences and his thoughts after the game didn't make you really convinced that LA's keeping him next year. So we'll see. We'll see about their contract coming in to the next season. But as of now, the Eagles will move on. And the Eagles will face the Commanders. Washington and Philadelphia. This is going to be a blast. An absolute blast. What is the line on this game? It started off at 5. It is now Philadelphia minus 5.5. The over-under is 47. It looks like 38 degrees. No snow in the forecast right now. That would be fun. I hope that the weather stays away. If it does, that's fine, I guess. But I would love to see Washington's high-flying offense against that Philly D. That's going to be fun to watch. Washington versus Philly. And honestly, it's good to see some fresh faces in there. Jaden Daniels, wow. Just a great story for the NFL. The Eagles, the Bills, the Chiefs, we know, we get it. They've been there. They're good. They're going to be there. And speaking of the Bills and Chiefs, they will be there again because the Bills played the Ravens last night in a heavyweight bout. 52 points scored. This was a badass football game. Josh Allen through the air, not so much. The Bills went 27-25, but through the air, Josh Allen didn't kill it. Lamar Jackson, oh, man, I hate this. I hate saying this. I don't want to say Lamar Jackson does it again because he did throw a pick and he did lose a fumble. That's 2 turnovers by him. Did Mark Andrews drop the ball? Yes. 2-point conversion attempt that would have tied the game. Yes, Mark Andrews dropped the ball. He also fumbled the ball in the drive before that in a super important drive. It was a bad day for Mark Andrews. Let's just say that. But Lamar Jackson also lost a fumble. They had 3 total in the day. They lost 2 of them. Just turnovers. Turnovers killed these teams. Absolutely destroyed a lot of these teams. And you can't have turnovers in the playoffs. But I would have loved to see Ravens or Bills versus the Chiefs, but we get Mahomes and Josh Allen at it again. This is going to be a blast. And I don't know what's bigger. Do you want Lamar Jackson to move on, or do you want Josh Allen to beat Mahomes? Man. Lamar Jackson, what is he, 0 for 5 now? But trying to get to the Super Bowl? Well, in the playoffs, it is, I guess. He's gotten to the conference championship 1 time. And I think he's 28 years old. So what's he got? 6 more years? Barring injury, he runs a lot. Josh Allen was 16-22, 127. Just a decent day. They're rushing. This was also an absolute snow fest. It was just so fun to watch, man. These games were a blast to watch. It was good football. Great football Saturday. Great football Sunday. You can complain about the refs all you want, but it was an entertaining 2 days for the NFL. Buffalo Bills move on. They will face the Chiefs, and here we go again. What's the line on that one? That's got to be 1.5. Yep, KC minus 1.5. Over-under is 48. Looks like it's going to be partly cloudy in Kansas City. This will be fun to watch. You know, you could sit here and count the Chiefs out all year long. They've been doing this. They win these tight games, man. But that's the reason it's KC minus 1.5. I'm sure the public is going to jump all over the Bills. You're getting 1.5, or you go money line. I mean, it looks good on paper. It looks like the Bills should destroy the Chiefs, but man, this is playoff football. It's in Kansas City, and there's a reason Vegas says it's KC minus 1.5. Maybe injuries. Going to be good football. Next Sunday, let's see. Commanders at the Eagles, 2 p.m. on Fox. And then right after that on CBS, Bills at the Chiefs. Man, great football. Who do you want to see? I want to see Washington and Buffalo. I just want new faces in there. If it's Eagles and Chiefs, obviously still watch the Super Bowl, but we've seen this before. So let's go Commanders. Let's go Bills. All right, moving on to some NCAA football because, of course, tonight you have the college football championship between Ohio State and Notre Dame. This game is in New Orleans, where there's a chance of snow in New Orleans tonight. Granted, they're playing in a dome. I know that. But, man, how incredible at that. Oh, I'm sorry. It's in Atlanta, Georgia, not New Orleans. Ohio State at number 7, Notre Dame. Will Howard. This is going to be fun. And this is Ohio State minus 8.5. Give me Notre Dame plus 8.5 for sure. Notre Dame's 14-1. Ohio State's 13-2. This should be a great, entertaining football game. The over-under's at 45.5. If it's at 45.5, I like Notre Dame plus the 8.5 points, man. Speaking of gambling, yesterday in the NFL, all the underdogs covered. So, like, none of the favorites covered the spread. Gambling wins again, or Vegas wins again, should I say. But the line started at 9.5 for Ohio State, so that means it's moved a full point, which takes a lot of money to move it a full point towards Notre Dame's direction. So now it is Notre Dame plus 8.5. Money line is plus 300. I wouldn't go as far as that, but The betting public has 45% Notre Dame, 55% Ohio State. This is going to be fun, man. I'm not. Ohio State beat Texas. Listen to this run that they went on. They beat Tennessee, Oregon, and Texas to get to where they're at. Wow. Wow. That's pretty impressive. Notre Dame beat Indiana, Georgia, and Penn State. So I'm here for it. We'll talk about it on Wednesday when we get back on Sports with Balls. I want to thank Christian's Tailgate Bar and Grill. Appreciate you as always, man. Go to christianstailgate.com. Find one near you. Watch the national championship tonight at Christian's Tailgate. Get in trouble, go to Thiessen Law Firm, thetexastrialattorney.com, 713-864-9000. 9,000. That's 713-864-9000. And listen, the impending weather. You guys be careful out there. It's freezing all over the United States, especially down here in the South. Your pipes bust, you got problems, you got anything going on with fire, water, mold, or roofing, call Butler CCS Incorporated. That's Wes Butler over at Butler CCS. Y'all have fun watching the college football game tonight. I'm off to play some pickleball with my man Tom. I will see you guys on Wednesday. This is Sports with Balls. I'm Jeff Michael. I'm out of here.